Good morning and welcome to the Ridiculously Early J Morning Show. I'm your host Michael, and today we are working through the backlog on our presentation tool in J. Looks like today we're going to be working on fixing a bug that has been plaguing the implementation for a while. The situation here is that if we insert a new piece of text, we say Shift E to make this cursor active, we say I10, something like that. Press enter, it records this macro, but it doesn't actually work so well. It doesn't actually fully integrate with the system, so when I press forward there, it actually crashed. You can see we've got a rank error somewhere. It's not being inserted correctly into the system. What we want, obviously, is to be able to press this in here, press I10, actually see the results as we do that, and so that's where we're at. So we have two issues here. One is to run the command and show the output, and then the other is that there is this bug in these two things. So I really hope to get to those today, and then if possible, move on to the command history and so on. But I think that this is going to take up most of our time, maybe even into tomorrow. Depends on how much of a bug it is. All right, so inserting REPL into the script mismanages start state. That's what we're looking at right now. Just sanity check, make sure everything is up to date. In my Git repository, yes, Git remote. So I'm on GitHub, Tangent Storm jPrez. You can find all this information there. A note about what the project is, a little description of what we're doing, and so on. So without further ado, let's jump in and see if we can make some fixes here. All right, our inbox is also growing. We're going to have to do another triage session soon, but right now I don't have any notes about what I think this might be. So I guess we're just going to jump in and find out. The command to insert the text is, if I say k_n, that's the key. The shift n is what, oops, it's not in here though. It's in MJE, minimal J editor, which will be renamed probably at some point. Just in case that's not in my inbox. I say that pretty much it's the very first thing in my inbox. Anyway, as I was saying, k_n is the code to play the macro. k_e is the code to edit the REPL. And ed REPL simply switches the keyboard handler to the REPL keys namespace. So we use those. And then in REPL keys, Control M, the enter key, says stop. And stop just sets us back to outkeys and says accept REPL. So accept is a method on the REPL object, right? So this is a time-traveling REPL, right? That's the whole point of this. At the point when we insert this line, it potentially needs to invalidate everything in the future. So this line is innocuous. I.10, all it does is counts 0 to 9. So inserting that line does nothing, except it does affect the state of the world in the timeline. There's a variable that describes what the starting and ending lines of history are, like what should be on screen. And so simply inserting a line means everything after that in the narrative needs to be invalidated and refreshed. I think that's a fairly simple thing to do. Let's see how that works when we load it now. So in MJE, where do we call exec? In here. We're reading it from the file itself. I've started to demonstrate this a couple times. The main data structures in this system is called index. And it corresponds to all the lines in the screenplay that start with colon, which is 9 lines, and the length of the index is 9. And this tells you that line 1 of slide 0, and line 2, and line 4, and line 5, and line 7, and line 8, like these are all the lines that have these colons in front. And of course, they're pairs, where 1 and 2 are the macro, and then the actual text of this line, 4 and 5 are the macro, and the text of this line, and so on. And then conames, if we look at the coname, we see that there are 6 worlds, 7 worlds, and counting 0. So let's see, these are the ones that do not have a dot in them. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus world 0 gives us 7. So 7 lines that don't have dots in them are the 7 worlds. So there actually is this thing called OLW. So index, I'm going to try and see if I can restart it. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I have my keys back. And what did I want to say? I wanted to say OLW is the length of OLW is 10. The length of the index is 9. That's probably a bug. Oh, yeah, world 0 is in there twice, and so that's not right. So what should happen is that these two should be, these two should be kind of parallel arrays. So OLW is going to be the 0 shape of A, and now these should be parallel arrays. Let's one more time, J, control space to exit, length of index and length of OLW. So now if we say index, and we'll box each row of the index. So that gives us that, and then we can put that side by side with the OLW. And then we can see that on slide 01, we're in world 0, 02, we're in world 1. 04, we're in world 1. Is that right? Yes, because these are macros, they don't actually do anything, so we stay in that world 0. This is a macro, so it doesn't do anything, but then the next line actually executes. This moves us to world 2. This is a macro, it does nothing. Or this is not a macro, so it executes. This is not a macro, so it executes, and so they increment. So this is like the central data structures for mapping the outline structure to the world structure. And then the outline itself is in a great big data structure called slides. And if we just take like the first one of these, we can see, even that's kind of hard to read, but so that has 4 items in it. So item number 0 is the slide title. Item number 1 is the text. I think it's boxed. And then if we do, wow, that's even still hard to read because these macros are so long. But if we unbox that again, unbox it twice, you can see it's the text of the slide. Item number 2 is the slide, right? So I think item number 2 might have a slide on it. There we go. So this is like the text that appears in the editor. So that appears on slide 2, so the third slide, the one at index 2. 11222. That is the depth of the slide in the outline. So we have 2 top-level headings followed by 3 lower-level headings, and length of slides is 5. Yeah, so there are 5 slides, and then these are nested under this one. So those 2 things are the kind of the main slide structures, what we get out of the org file. The actual screenplay looks like this. So there's our 2 top-level slides. Then here are the 3 nested ones. Here's the one. Here's slide number 2 that actually has a slide on it. I call them slides because this used to be only slides. It used to only show flat slides. Now it's got this REPL history in it. Maybe I should update my terminology here. There we go. So these lines with the colon, they show up on the right-hand side, and these blocks with begin source J show up on the left-hand side of the user interface. So just as a demo, here's that slide. I press 0 to move forward, and there it is. The lines with colons, there's the block, and so on. Seems like it might be a little, we got our bug from yesterday back. Term stack, BT, KVM. Is it just called stack? Okay, so that does look like something is going wrong with the stack there when it gets into this state where it does the stripes. I don't know why that's happening, but it seems to be caused by crashing in the middle of things, and so just getting out of here and starting over will fix it. So I can just ignore that. It's an effect of a crash, it's not a cause of a crash. Okay, so I don't actually know what to do to fix this, but it seems like the right thing to do, rather than trying to patch it all the time, would be to build the slides data structure first, which is this line right here. Org slides does that data structure. And everything else in here, heads extracts the headlines because otherwise they have like asterisks in front of them, but heads just properly indents the outline. So that's not a big deal. So if I say heads, you can see that they're indented correctly. In the actual file, they have asterisks there instead of spaces. So that's all that is. So this happens when we load the file, but this is all part of the execution. Init world wipes out all of the worlds. So I think what needs to happen is just rebuild. It's a little bit slow to do this every time we insert something, but I think that this is fine. So we just call rebuild, and that's it. I see that I'm creating a temp, and I'm never destroying the temp. So co-destroy temp. All right, so all I did was factor out a word called rebuild and then call co-destroy. So this should be a refactoring that does nothing. This is an old leftover line that I don't need. I'm trying to keep this to 1 page. So now I should be able to reload this and everything should continue to work just as it has before. But now if I insert something into the REPL, wherever I call accept REPL, trigger update of future worlds, insert command, put text, insert commands, put text. All right, so it inserts these 2 lines, and yeah, this is exactly it. So accept UI REPL. This is the superclasses version of accept, so do whatever needs to be done. And then I think I say rebuild here, but it's rebuild in base. And let's see what happens. So now if I first reload, and I'm going to press Shift-E to enter a new line, and I'm just going to say the same line that's at the bottom there, sum PI10, sum the first 10 primes. Enter error, rebuild base did not work. Rank error, okay, well, why is that a rank error? Rebuild, all right, so hang on, reset, CLS, that's just the string for clearing the string. And then, all right, rebuild is this verb that I just created, so where is the rank error coming from? If I call rebuild here, do I get a rank error? Yes, I do. Coming from this line right here, specifically this if statement. So this is saying if line starts with that, so why would I get a length error there? Line is coming out of the text for slide I, one of the slides. All right, so text 0, text 1, text 2, text 3, text 4. Oh, okay, so text 0, look at that. It's not nice. 0, 1, 2, that's what I'm seeing this messed up. 3. Outkeys is a namespace. Why would that suddenly appear in the text? Okay. Outkeys is the namespace here, so I'm creating a namespace. I bet the word coname is appearing somewhere, and then coname might be causing... No? All right, so what is text? Text is a verb, right, that comes with the outline parser. Text, slide. So if I say, okay, so text is y, 1 of slides. So text 2, text 1, text 0. Okay, so it's probably one of these insert commands. B of ed. So text 0, and then we're going to take 0 of text 0. That's the macro for... Now I'm going to make a new macro so that so I'm going to restart, reload. Just to be safe, probably broken. Restart, Shift E, and I'm just going to put hello, enter, rebuild base. That's what I'm expecting. Everything's broken now, but text 0 is now this, and you can see it made the macro, and then it inserted this. So why did that happen? Insert command base, insert command. Where does insert command? Put text and insert into commands. Insert command base, get log ed. Like it does insert both of those, right? Yes. Is it possible one of those is returning get log red is returning? What's happening there? That is logging something. Get log of red. So red. I see what's happening. I'm just going to comment out one line at a time and see what happens. See which one's causing the crash. So what's happening here is that the log is empty right after you accept. So this is being wiped out. So I'm not able to diagnose what's happening here. This is a separate bug, but it's not really it's just not meant to be called this way. So not even sure if that's what you would call a bug. All right, so now I'm just going to say hello again. And I did get that problem. Maybe rebuild itself is causing the problem? Like what? Okay, so let's try again. What I really need is a stack trace. Maybe I'll turn the debugger on in a second. If I can remember how to use the debugger. I want E, hello, rebuild base. So it is in rebuild base, and maybe rebuild base is itself causing the problem. So text 0. Yes, it's already put outkeys in there. So why is it putting outkeys in there? If it's not this, what else would be modifying the text? So let's find, not text, it's slides, right? Slides, put text, list of commands, cur, 1, no commands. So in my test, I didn't do that cleanly. So I commented these 2 lines out, but I think I also ran insert command by pressing just plain old E rather than Shift E. Let's do that again cleanly. Hello, enter. Okay, I still have the problem. Okay, let's see what we have. Debug, what is it? DBG, debug 1, I think it is. Hello. Yeah, so now I'm in the debugger. DB trace, DB stack. Yeah, okay. So line is going to be outkeys, right? So where did it come from? Though that's my problem. Like that has to be coming from something that's calling coname, but key mode base. Key mode is just swapping stop base except REPL coname. I don't know where else outkeys could be coming from. And put text is the only thing that. All right, so I'm gonna say this. Assert. How do you tell us something's a box? J type. No, it's not type. It's type. Nope. Data type. Data type of A is boxed. Assert data type Y is not equal to boxed. Put text. Okay, so now we have a boxed Y, which is outkeys, and now we can see DB stack. Where are we calling from? Insert command is being passed outkeys as an argument. So key mode is calling focus. Focus is calling insert command. Focus. Focus is not a verb. It's not meant to be a verb. It's a noun. This is a noun. What is happening here? Key mode is what I'm calling. I'm passing outkeys to key mode. I expect this. Yes. This is absolutely what I expect. And then, but why is this is very confusing to me because focus is never meant to be a verb. So what does key mode do? Key mode. That's a verb. Why is it a verb? It's coming from this line right here. This is focus of outkeys is this. Focus of REPL keys, and this is what focus should be. And focus of, what's the one called? Ed keys? Yes. So focus of out keys is screwed up. Oh, this is correct. But this is a verb. And so because you have a verb and a noun, we're creating a fork. So this needs to be noun. Noun is not a verb, but not nominalized. It needs to be turned into a gerund. So if we do that, if we do it on one line, then it needs to be a gerund. So now this tie conjunction causes the verb here to become a noun. And so this will go away. So that was interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so Shift E now and hello and everything works. Data type Y is literal. Oh, okay. So now I'm getting a length error because I'm comparing what I meant to say here is this is not equal, but it does element wise. It's at rank 0 probably, I think, XYZ. So really what I mean to say is ABC is not equal at rank infinity. And then you can say same thing, but oops. So now that works. Whereas what I had said before does not work that way because the lengths are different. So you can't compare item by item. Okay, all right, so that's cool. We got to see how to use the debugger. We got to see why you should never put a verb definition on the same line as a noun definition, unless you use this little magic trick. Okay, so that is a bug, but is it the bug that was causing it to mismanage the state? That, I think I've already fixed that by calling that rebuild function. Hello, right, I never fixed this. We don't need this assertion anymore because we found our culprit. Let's just go ahead and exit, reload, so Shift E, hello, that's in there, boom, boom. I like that, I like it. That's not quite right. We have an off by 1 error, okay. Which is causing things to show up at the top there. The load tangent storm showed up way too early, and this is now causing an error with the index. And that is because I changed this line right here. Earlier, I changed this line that said, or I removed a line here. And so this needs to be back what it used to be, which is world 0, I believe. Let's see if I'm right. Get diff of MJE is world 0, and I need a comma in front of it. So a list including that one box. Okay, that probably actually does not matter, but there we go. All right, so now I bet this works. See, hello. So now that should have rebuilt everything. No output, that's what I'm expecting. All right, that works fine. All right, so that is, all of that was the fix for mismanaging the start state. So git commit MJE fix. I'm gonna just type git commit and then enter it in here. What is this, nano? So MJE rebuild history when inserting new REPL line, and then also fixed issue where focus of out keys was accidentally a fork. Okay, X save, yes, git push. All right, we've got about 10 minutes. Can I get it to run the command and show the output in the REPL? I think it does this. I think that by doing that, I made that happen. But the command I inserted just didn't happen to have any output. So there actually should be like an error message here saying hello is not defined, but somehow that's being suppressed. And I believe that's an error message I have somewhere, or that's in my backlog here. But I think this already works. So if I just say, what's something other than I10? How about just, I meant to say I33. Okay, so first it worked. That's awesome. And then now, how do I delete this? So I just do that. I suspect this is screwed up now. Yes, it didn't remove my I3. So I also need to do this on delete line. So actually, this is done, and this is done, but we also need, so we'll just clear future worlds on delete, or rebuild worlds on delete, and that is what I'm going to do right now. So that should be easy. So insert command, and then rebuild base. So the del line is put text, and then del commands, maybe even put text. No, I don't want to rebuild every time I put text, but because I call put text twice, but rebuild. Rebuild ignores its argument, so we should just be able to say that. All right, so now reload. All right, now if I delete this line by pressing D, everything should be fine. If I remove this line by pressing D, everything should be fine. If I insert something here, not insert, it's Shift E, PI20. You guys are going to think this is all J ever does, is add the sums of primes. All that's working, and now I'll delete the actual line without deleting the macro. Delete PI10, and then in the middle here, it still should show the, okay, that's a bug. I have not fixed the start state bug. Okay, this is actually something different. So rebuild worlds on delete, that's done. That's easy. So gdmje.ijs, MJE, rebuild worlds on delete. But the start state for the macros is off. Something is wrong with that. All right, so open to reload the file. That's all working right again. But if I play this macro, yeah, it starts with the end state of that. So I need to, what do I need to do? I think it's recording everything correctly, but it needs to, let me guess, I bet this line shows all three kind of grammed together. When I press Shift N here, I should see N and, no, it's not showing first 10 natural numbers. Okay, so it's clearing the state in the wrong place. So that's in rebuild now, and then init world, get state temp, set state. I think we just need to do it after every line. Run the macro, just after every line we say temp or set state of temp to the empty string. So now, oops, set state of temp, link there, set state of temp. Oh, it's not set state, it's get state and set state are doing a memento pattern. I want set value that resets everything. So it's not set value, names, no, we want names, UI edit widget. Get state, is it set val maybe? Set val, yeah, right down here, set val. All right, so now I would expect if I run this, it still says first 10 natural numbers. Okay, we're specifically storing the state after we run the macro, but on this line, this is when we want this to set the value of temp to empty. So if we execute something, then we're clearing the value, and otherwise we do it here. And we do it before we call get state. All right, so now I believe we can reload cleanly. Shift in here, there we go, perfect. Time primes, that's a little slow, but okay, good. All right, so this was really two different things. So clear future worlds on input. Part of it was clearing things, and then part of it was this was clearing the worlds, and part was set val of temp. Okay, so now at any point in here we can just say Shift E, and we can now say hello. We can add things to our history. And what I'd like to see now is a little bit of polish around this. I want to get this to the point where it's recording down here and moving the cursor, so that if I said ABC down here, it should move the cursor down 2 items so that ABC actually shows up here. That's one thing. And then I want it to stay in REPL mode so that I can actually use this as a REPL, and I can go into REPL mode, and then I can start typing up here, and we'll actually record everything I do. And I don't have to press Shift E every time to go back in there. I don't want to be jumping back and forth between these two things and having this turn gray. That is going to be pretty high on my list. We're going to say the first item, adding new REPL line to history, advanced cursor, so it shows result. Oh wait, actually I'm not showing the output in the REPL, and that's not done until I do this, so that actually is on my list. So show the output in the REPL is still to do for just a second here. And then the other thought is to stay in REPL mode. Maybe I can do this all in one, let's see. It is 9 o'clock, I'm out of time, but I got a little bit of a late start, and I also had some stream issues, so let's do this. Run the command and show the output in the REPL. So first of all, let's check in our code. GDMJE, what did we just fix? Clear macro start state after each execution. All right, so now we're going to display the code. So this is in accept. So we insert, and then forward commands is not, we have to make a reference to it. Commands is equal to commands in base, and then forward commands twice to move past those 2 lines. So I believe that should fix the show it part. All right, so reload, Shift E, hello, I10, up, Shift E, I10. All right, that shows it. And then now for where I say accept, I'm calling out keys, right? REPL keys, accept REPL. I think we just say accept REPL, and then this goes away. This line is going to go away because we're not switching back to out keys. We do need something to switch back to out keys though, and that's going to be the tab key. Or let's just do, what's tab? Control, ASCII, control characters, tab. I don't have a special name for the tab key, so it's going to be control something. Is going to be, oh, come on. ASCII control characters. The tab character is not this. It's 9, so it's the 8th letter of the alphabet. So come on. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. That's control I maybe? 8 from here is I, yeah. So control I is tab. Pressing control I on your keyboard will give you the tab key. And we want this to go into key mode base, out keys. All right, so now this can go away. We should sort these lines, sort lines. So we've added key mode base to go move back to the outliner, and I'll probably do tab to do that as well. But let's just see reload. So Shift E, and now we say I10. We're still in that mode. I20. Hit tab. It did move us, but it didn't set the focus because we don't want accept. We want go to outline. Focus outline. Focus on outline, and then focus on outline is going to be definitely do this, but also app, or the F of app, the focus of the app is out. Hang on, key mode is meant to focus on the list. Oh, I see what it is. It's REPL. It's not that the focus didn't switch, it's that the redraw flag didn't get set. REPL equals 1 to redraw without focus. And then key mode base. So focus on outline, so that's that. Control space, reload. So Shift E now, hello, tab, key mode. Noun result was required, right? Because I want to call it. That was returning a function that didn't get called. So now one more time, reload, Shift E, hello, tab, and now I'm out of the outline. And so now I want to put tab again. So when I say REPL keys, this key mode REPL keys, so ed REPL. So I don't want ed REPL. I still want to be able to create a new thing, and I want to be able to edit an existing line. But I also want to be able to just tab to go in there. This is not on my sprint, but I'm so close to doing this. This is so easy. So I just want this. So focus on outline, and then in outkeys to redraw without focus, R of list to redraw focus. Key mode of base is outkeys, and here we want it to be REPL keys. And then HIJKEFGHI is focus on outline. All right, so one more time, reload, tab did not do what I want. Now control I, HIJKL, so it goes here, control space, reload, tab, okay, tab, hello, tab, perfect. Okay, so tab is now switching between the two, and I'm going to add that to my list of things that are done, even though it was just added right now. So run the command and show the output in the REPL is done, and a tab to switch between outline and REPL. That's awesome because now it actually feels like a REPL. I can tab over here, I can say hello, and I can just film this part, and I can actually do my demo, and it's recording it down here, and that's just awesome. The one thing that's missing is being able to press up and retrieve this line, and so now I have to retype everything by hand, but that is the next thing on my list, and so that is what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you're on YouTube, then there'll be another episode here that you might be interested in. Check it out. For those of you watching on Twitch, I stream every weekday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You're welcome to join me if you're up at this ridiculous hour, and I look forward to seeing you soon.